What's up, everybody? My name is Luke Charlier. I'm with University Pulse, and I'm joined by the one and only Phil Elverum of Mount Eerie, the microphones, and I'm sure a lot of other bands that I can't name off the top of my head. But
Just
he's
those
been
two.
just those two. All right. So I guess first, or do you want to like introduce yourself? Formal
What's
introduction.
up, everybody? This is Phil Elverum coming at you live from my home, snowed in on top of a mountain in the Salish Sea. Yeah, hi.
Sounds perfect. I guess my first question for you, pretty simple question. What are you looking forward most for your upcoming tour?
Oh, most. I'm looking forward to it a lot, the whole thing. It's a special tour because I have a band, which I don't usually have, and it's really fun to play with other musicians. It's
Yeah.
I don't do it very much because it's like logistically pretty challenging, and also my songs can be strange and difficult to teach to people. But yeah, I'm looking forward to playing the shows. I don't know, like the whole thing. I'm so excited about it. I haven't been
Is
on
there any
tour in a
like
while either.
Is there like any cities in particular that you're excited for?
Hmm. Well, touring is this weird way of traveling where you like it can be frustrating to be in a place and not get to do anything there other than like hopefully you get to like eat dinner and
Yeah.
then play the show and that's it. I especially with the band, there's just like we have to sound check for longer. I do my own merch, so there's like a lot of that type of work. So it kind of doesn't matter so much where I am because I'm just like in work mode. It's
Yeah.
different than traveling otherwise, where we're hitting museums and parks and
Yeah, you're just going so fast you can't even, slow down and look around.
yeah.
I think it's interesting that you're going to both Portland, Oregon and Portland, Maine. So you'll get to do the direct comparison of the two Portlands, I guess.
Yeah.
Be fun. When was your like first show?
My first show of my
Yeah.
life.
Yeah, of your whole life.
Oh, well, I used my first band I was a drummer in, and I think our first show was a fundraiser for the local Anacortes Community Forest Lands, like a nonprofit forest lands educational organization. So they did an annual fundraiser and it was held at the Eagles Hall and it was with like four or five local bands. I was a
That's cool.
teenager. It was so exciting.
It's cool to see that your roots are still in like forest, nature type
Yeah.
stuff. I guess kind of switching gears. You really recently released the album Night Palace, and I bought the vinyl, and I didn't really like read anything about the vinyl. I was just like, yeah, it's a vinyl for Mount Eerie. Of course, I'm gonna buy it. And it comes in, and it's just like a comically huge poster and two LPs. What sparked that idea for like the huge poster with so much information on the back? What was like, I guess, the idea process behind that?
Glad that it hit you by surprise. That's perfect. Um, yeah, I made another record in 2005. I guess I think of it as like the first Mount Eerie album officially. It's called No Flashlight.
Yeah,
And I did that with that record as well back then. And it was sort of inspired by this British punk band Crass from, late 70s, early 80s. There were this anarchist collective band and that idea of punk as being like using your platform to communicate a lot of stuff and
yeah,
just disseminate information. And their record covers were not LP jackets that were a sleeve that you put the record in, but just like huge posters that folded up to wrap around the vinyl. And so theirs weren't as big as mine, but I thought, how big can you print? I just was like, I wanted to find the biggest piece of paper that you could possibly print on. And I tracked it down through the people that print giant maps in Washington, D.C. for like the Department of Defense. That's who I used in 2005. This time I found somebody on the West Coast. But yeah, the world of large format printing is a really interesting place.
yeah. I'm not well versed in the large format printing world, but
Not many
I,
are.
I feel like you could almost, do like a blanket LP, like just make a huge blanket, wrap that, and then ship it out.
That's what I
Because
was
like,
going for. Yeah. Or a tarp. Or next level is like somebody's printing billboards. Like those are even bigger. How is that attainable?
Yeah, just ship a billboard to everyone's houses.
I also like the idea though of not just having it be huge for hugeness sake, but actually
Yeah,
have there be a point to it. And so I tried to fill it with as much content and actual like juicy information and like poetry and images and yeah, I wanted to be generous with like what's on there rather than using up
yeah.
resources for no reason.
It's not just a poster for poster's sake. You get like all the background lore on the album, all the background lore on you, so much cool stuff, a bunch of extras. That's what I always liked about your vinyl. I own three of your vinyl, and all three of them are just like jam packed with random different not gimmicks, but you know what I mean. Just like
Yeah.
things that are kind of outside of the ordinary. Even the like small things with like the Glow Part 2 vinyl, how the gatefold is like the opposite direction it usually is. Like that type of stuff I always appreciate. Like I feel like the vinyl or like CD or whatever packaging is kind of like an extension of the album. So it's cool to see an artist like fully realize that.
I think that, yeah, with like physical objects, there's so many things we can do, and lots of people don't really explore that. So I like to experiment a lot with what's possible.
Yeah, and it's also like, we're in the age of like streaming where you can just instantly like pull up an album. So like I think it's cool when artists can like give you a real reason to get the physical media, like give you an extra incentive. It's like
It's
you're
the
getting,
only antidote I can think of to streaming, where music is really devalued and it's this
yeah,
disposable thing that like who even listens to a whole song anymore
yeah,
mindfully.
especially on like TikTok and stuff.
Um, Kind of giving people a chance to like slow down and pay attention to what they're listening to and hold the thing in their hands is seems like maybe the thing that can break the spell of that disposability.
Yeah, for sure. All right, switching gears again pretty drastically. I keep seeing this clip of you online rapping Lil Wayne. I'm sure you've talked about it many times, but it got me wondering, do you have like a favorite rapper?
I'm a little bit out of the loop lately with like hip hop and what's current at all. So not really. Um, yeah, my daughter's 10 and she's I that's mostly like the window that I am paying attention to modern pop and hip hop music. But yeah,
Yeah.
no, I don't have a favorite rapper. That I was pretty into the Carter 3 when it came out, and
The
that
Carter 3.
silly karaoke video was like my friend captured it and put it on YouTube. People ask me about it a lot, but yeah, I don't know. Maybe it's because that's some like novelty, like, oh, I'm some white guy that plays acoustic guitar. How could I possibly know about rappers? Of
Yeah.
course I do.
I think it kind of like works the other way. Like if you saw Lil Wayne, singing a Mount Eerie song, everyone would be freaking out the same way.
I feel like I remember hearing Lil Wayne talking about Kurt Cobain, or like he plays electric guitar on stage. He's
Yeah,
not
yeah,
great
yeah.
at it, but yeah, I mean, people have these kind of enclosures around around genres and stuff, but like artists are artists. People like to listen to all kinds of music outside of the boundaries.
So you said you're like not necessarily tapped into the modern rap game. Is there any like newer gen artists of any genre that you're into right now?
The new music that I discover is so just scrappy and random. It's like somebody will send me a link to something and I might click on it, but usually I won't. uh, or like Bandcamp. It's usually through Bandcamp. Yeah, trying to think. Or yeah, YouTube's. No, I'm sorry, I can't drop any names. I don't know. I listen to like esoteric world music stuff
Yeah.
that pops up on like some YouTube thread and but mostly I'm don't listen to that much music, honestly.
Yeah, that was honestly kind of the answer I was expecting because I was doing some research on like some of your interviews and you're always like pulling out like a Swedish folk album from like 1960s. So like I feel like you're kind of outside of, the mainstream circle, but that's like that's Phil Overham, like you're not, you're not supposed to be in the mainstream circle. I saw on your Wikipedia you released some tracks under the alias DJ Microphone. Will you ever return to the DJ Microphone alias?
That's funny that it's on Wikipedia, so it makes it seem more real than it is. That was like a cassette I probably made 10 copies of when I was a teenager for like one dance party in Anacortes. So, uh,
Dang, that's real niche then.
very niche, like so niche that it's not even real.
Well, it's
Yeah,
on
no,
Wikipedia, so it's
it's on
real knowledge.
Wikipedia, so it's very official.
Um, uh, I saw that you said one of your favorite albums is Vespertine by Bjork. Do you have like a favorite track?
Undo.
Undo, yeah, that's a great one. You covered that, right? Like on
Kinda. Yeah, I like did
not really
a
covered, interpolation, I guess.
exactly, yeah.
I think my favorite's probably Sun in My Mouth. At least right now.
Yeah, that's so good. That whole album, I remember the first one that really clicked with me was Unison, the last track, just because it's got that catchy chorus. Um, but yeah, Undo, it's just every time crushes me. It's so powerful, just as a composition. It's like a miniature symphony.
Yeah. It's just an unreal album. It's so like it feels like it's 10,000 years in the future, but also, 10,000 years in the past. It's just one of those albums that's just completely timeless.
Yeah.
This is this is kind of related, but have you ever heard the soundtrack for Minecraft?
No.
For some reason in my brain, like the beats on Vespertine are very similar to the like instrumentals from Minecraft. So I'm always like imagining Bjork, just singing over those. So maybe you should check that out if
I
you like
wonder if
Vespertine
it
too
could be the
much.
same people. Matt Most, I think, was who did the beats on. I mean,
I don't think so. The dude who did the Minecraft soundtrack, I think his name's like C418 or something. He just has like numbers as his name, but it's a pretty legendary album. Okay, I like conducted like a Instagram type poll before this interview, asking like people who follow me, do you have any questions for Phil? And the first two responses were, "Are you okay?" And then the third response is, "Does the pain ever fade?" Would you like to address those questions or no?
damn. Uh, it, all right. Did you specify which Phil you're talking about? There
Yeah,
are many.
I said Phil Elverum of Mount Eerie, and they both
Huh.
two
Yeah.
people both said, "Are
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
okay?" I was like, "Dang, it's kind of wholesome, but kind of scary. I don't know how to
Yeah.
feel about it."
Yeah, maybe I have a reputation of being not okay or something. I'm great. I'm and the pain does fade, yeah.
That's great to hear. Very
I mean, it
inspiring.
doesn't it fades, yeah, but you also have to like work to help it fade and to move
Yeah,
forward. It's yeah, that's the answer to that one.
yeah. It doesn't just fade on its own. You gotta do something at least.
It changes on its own, but not necessarily in a way you that would like heal.
Yeah,
But it depends
that
on
makes
what kind of
sense.
pain we're talking about. Like
Yeah,
if
it
it's
was very
a
vague.
lower back injury, that's different than emotional pain. But yeah, it
Yeah,
fades.
think he was going emotional pain, but maybe he
I'm
was
sure.
just struggling with, a pulled back.
Self-care.
All right. I read in some interview online, you said the soundtrack to Paris, Texas is one of the best albums to cook to, which I thought was cool. It's a great movie. But anyways, that kind of got my brain working. Would you ever want to kind of do a soundtrack for a whole movie?
Yeah, I like the idea of that. I've been asked a few times for like m pretty small, no budget projects. I would totally do it if I just had more time, I guess. I always
Yeah,
feel spread thin about even getting to record all the ideas that I have for my own stuff and or like record with friends. It's just like too many things. But yeah, for sure. I like the idea of it.
yeah. Like what, I guess, already existing movie do you think kind of matches your overall aesthetic the best?
Oh, good question. Like what kind of images would I want to soundtrack?
Yeah,
That's the
exactly.
thing. I would probably want to make the movie too.
Okay. Yeah, that's
Yeah,
valid.
I mean, there's a
Um,
lot of movies that I really love, but like that's that person's work. And
yeah,
I guess soundtracking a film, scoring a film is like a collaborative thing that I don't have that much experience with. I tend to just
yeah,
gravitate towards like I want to do all of it myself. So that would
yeah,
be a new territory for me with that level of creative collaboration.
yeah, for sure. What is, I guess, some of your favorite movies outside of ones that match your aesthetic?
I love Nosferatu, the new one that just
Oh, dude, it was a great movie. It definitely matches. I think that matches your aesthetic at least somewhat.
it's
But
pretty
like,
grim. I mean, the music for that would be that. I mean, if I were gonna score it, I don't. It would be pretty harrowing, and I guess I like making sounds like that. Twin Peaks season three is another, not a movie exactly, but I just love the world of that,
yeah, I mean that's like the world you live in, basically, like the Pacific Northwest
a version of it.
area.
Yeah. I mean, there's so many. I just watched this one of my favorite movies, Dersu Uzala. It's this Kurosawa movie from
Oh,
1975 that's
Kurosawa.
Russian. He made a movie in Russia, in Siberia.
Oh,
So that's so beautiful. And I mean, I wouldn't
yeah,
want to score it exactly, but yeah, it's a good one.
one of your favorites. I haven't checked that movie out. Kurosawa did Seven Samurai, right?
Yep.
Okay, I bought that movie on not CD, DVD, and I still haven't watched it. So I gotta tap into the
It's so
Kurosawa.
good. Do you have the cool Criterion collection?
Yeah,
Like
yeah,
free debt. I have that too. It's really nice.
yeah. I bought it on like Black Friday because they had like buy all these Criterion movies. So I was like, I'm gonna just buy a bunch of movies I've never seen.
And you're like,
That way,
DVDs are the future.
exactly, they're the future, you know. I mean, people were probably making fun of vinyl back in the 2000s. Like, why would you ever buy a vinyl? Now they're more valuable than ever. But they're
Yeah.
probably going to crash soon again. But that's beside the point.
Mm.
Um, I always found it interesting that you kind of revisit song ideas, album ideas, and kind of make sequels. What's, I guess, your like philosophy behind the sequel song?
Yeah, it's I maybe it's hmm not a huge philosophy behind it, but more just uh I kind of like reveling in the fact that all of this stuff is interconnected. It's not, these songs aren't just like isolated things on their own, but they're all part of like one bigger stream. I like
Yeah,
weaving things together. I like that in other people's work too. Like talking about filmmakers, I like when characters from one movie just randomly pop up in another one, like they stick their head through the door in the background. It like Tripper's treats like that, I think are pretty fun.
yeah,
And maybe also line up with the what the real world is like, where everything exists in this kind of chaotic, interwoven mishmash.
yeah. We're all in like the same cinematic universe. Like,
Exactly.
which sounds stupid, but it's true. I think I always appreciated that you did like kind of sequel songs because I feel like a lot of people have the idea that like a sequel is like just like a capitalistic idea that's just there to make money. But I think a lot of us also kind of like, the idea of a sequel or things kind of reoccurring. I think, modern day Hollywood has kind of ruined the idea of a sequel for a lot of people, but seeing,
Yeah, I mean, superhero movie sequels are that's a different thing. That is just
yeah,
that's not
yeah,
a
for
work of
sure.
art necessarily. It's more of a cash grab.
Yeah,
But but yeah, there's a way to use sequentiality in a beautiful and artistic way.
yeah, exactly. And like, I guess just seeing someone being able to do that in the modern era without it feeling like a cash grab is inspiring, I guess. All right. This question, I don't know what you'll say too, but we'll see. What's your thoughts on, I guess, like all the online discourse, like kind of surrounding your music on like things like Twitter, Rate Your Music, all those websites?
Oh, I don't go there.
Yeah.
I don't know what it is. I protect myself from it, I guess.
I think that's probably the best way to live life, especially because like I don't know what does it feel like I guess to have such a like iconic album. The Glow Part Two is kind of just embedded into our culture. Like, does it just feel the same as before you dropped it, or do you feel weird, important?
Yeah, I think I kind of shield myself from that fact, or if
Yeah,
it is like to the degree it's a fact. I know I keep selling copies of it and like repressing it, and I know that people tell me it's their favorite one often, or when
yeah,
they tell me anything, it's usually about that. Um, but other than that, I don't think, oh yeah, it's iconic or it's like at this certain status or has this designation. It's for me, I think about it in more pragmatic terms, like, oh, time to press more copies. Cool. Wow,
Yeah,
how great. I'm made some money off that. Great. I can pay the bills now.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
I
I
think
think
that's
that's
a
a
probably
probably
the
the
healthiest
healthiest
way
way
to
to
approach
approach
it.
it.
Because
Because
I
I
think
think
like
like
with
with
some
some
artists,
artists,
like
like
once
once
they
they
drop,
drop,
you know,
that
that
lightning
lightning
in
in
a
a bottle
bottle
type
type
album,
album,
they
they
kind
kind
of
of
get
get
a
a
lot
lot
of
of
pressure
pressure
to
to
recreate
recreate
it
it
or
or
improve
improve
upon
upon
it,
it.
kind of
Kind of
like
like
that
that
idea.
idea.
And
And
I
I
think,
think I've
if you're
never
not
thought
doing,
about it like that.
yeah,
I just
exactly.
think of it as like I like it. It's not like I'm like, oh, it sucks. People should get over it. But I also think of it as like my third microphones album in a sequence of albums that I'm still like it's like this living process that I'm still engaged with. I
Yeah,
hope to be able to like stay engaged in this art practice for my whole life until I die. So yeah, it's this weird fluke that this one sort of got all this attention, but for me, I feel equally proud of well, not equally. Some I think suck, but most of my
DJ
albums,
microphone,
hmm?
DJ microphone.
Yeah,
Gotcha.
that one sucks. But you know what I mean? It's just like for me, it's like a step in the journey, and I'm still on.
Yeah, just another chapter in the whole
Yeah.
story. I guess this is kind of related. Something I saw online, just I don't even remember where I saw it, but someone was calling like Night Palace the Glow Part 3. Do you think there's some like some validity behind that, or is it just kind of a conspiracy?
No, I think that there's a relation. I think there's some similarity between those two albums, the way that they're structured, the Glow Part 2 and Night Palace. Uh,
Yeah,
they've got a similar sort of like scope and the scale, and they're they're long. They have like different sort of rises and falls over the course of the album. So yeah,
yeah.
there's something there.
I think like both kind of have like that. I don't know, that like juxtaposition, I guess. You know, you got those like long, super noisy, crazy songs. Then
Yeah.
you just got like a 1 minute, just kind of like soft ballad.
Mhm.
And they're just right next to each other on the track list, kind of
That's true,
like,
yeah.
yeah, the rises and falls, like you said.
All right, here's an interesting one. If you had like an infinite amount of money and an infinite amount of time to make an album, what would you try to do? What would you try to make the album sound like, et cetera, et cetera?
Hmm. Well, weirdly, I do feel I don't have infinite time or money, but I do feel creatively like I don't have any constraints. I don't have
Yeah,
a record label or any timeline or a manager or anything like that. Like, there's no pressure for me to produce on anyone else's schedule. I'm only limited by I guess what infinite money would do is I could like hire really proficient musicians or like a orchestra or something, but I wouldn't do that.
yeah.
Even if I had infinite money, I would still be like, I want to do it myself. And so I don't know. I don't think it would be very different.
You'd think it would just be like Night Palace,
It would be,
basically the
yeah.
same. Yeah,
Night Palace was made with more or less infinite time. I consciously gave myself no schedule for it and let it
yeah.
just sort of come out as it came out. And so that's that's what it would sound like.
We interviewed a band the other day called The Slaps, and they said they would get 10,000 people to sing in a choir and money launder the rest of it.
So,
Yeah, right. I know. Infinite money, I would not use it to record an album. I would like use it to solve the world's problems, right?
Yeah.
yeah.
Well, maybe that'll inspire the album, you know? It's just like, it's all part of the journey, you know? Some people will travel just to get like inspiration.
So maybe you
Ah, I
could
didn't know I
just,
could do use it as that.
yeah,
I didn't know that
yeah,
was a
you
valid
could.
business expense.
I think it would be. As long as, you know, write a little essay explaining the connection, you know, at the end. All right. Anyways, is fog your favorite weather phenomenon?
Yeah, it probably is.
Mine too. I think it doesn't really happen here much in Boise, but I'm sure you see it quite a bit.
Yeah, I do. I live kind of high altitude, high-ish, and on an island, and so it's one of the foggiest places around, and I'm so lucky for it. I'm so happy that I get to live
Yeah.
in enclosed like this.
What's the island called again?
Orcas?
Orcas? Okay, I gotta visit there sometime because I like fog a lot. So
I think it's just like the thing that kind of sucks about fog though is like I can never take a good enough picture of it. Like it always just looks so much better in real life, which I guess is kind of the appeal of it as well, you know. You have to see with your
all right.
eyes.
I
I
think
think
that's
that's
basically
basically
it.
it.
Do
Do
you
you
have
have
any
any
questions
questions
for
for
me?
me?
What's Boise like these days?
Um, I've been in Boise my whole life, so I don't really know like the difference between old Boise and new Boise. It just has always been Boise, but it's pretty chill. You know, it's getting more populous as the days go by. Um, yeah, I like it. What I like about Boise is like I can just hop on my bike and kind of go anywhere because we have like good bike ability, walkability. I think they're continuing to build stuff to make that maintained. But once you get outside of Boise, it's no longer walkable whatsoever. But yeah,
I'm excited to go back. It's been a really long. I don't remember how the last time I played in Boise, but it was a long time ago.
yeah, it's definitely different because I think it's like one of the fastest growing like cities in the United States. So if you can't even remember the last time you've been there, it's probably a completely different city.
Oh, it would have been Tree Fort Fest, I guess,
Oh, Tree Fort. Yeah,
in like
that's like our big
2014.
thing.
That,
Tree Fort
yeah,
2014. Dang.
11 years ago. Crazy.
Yeah. Do you remember where you performed? Like
No,
what venue?
don't remember the name of it. I was playing the songs from my album Sauna, my friend Carson. Yeah, and we caught a fish on the way there. We pulled over on the side of a river on a river and caught a fish and then cooked it on the camp stove.
Dang. That's some real Mount Eerie type. Yeah, Boise's pretty it's cool like that, you know. It's just a river going through. We got the green belt, I think.
Mhm.
That's probably where you caught the fish, is what I'm guessing, is
It
on the
was
green
deeper. It was
belt.
in Washington side, but yeah.
Oh, okay. So you did it like while driving there.
Yeah, we pulled over in the middle of the
Okay.
day. Carson, my bandmate, is mostly a fisherman, and so yeah, it was awesome.
I thought you meant like right before your show. You were just like, you
No,
know,
it was
fishing.
lunch. It was a lunch
Well,
event.
yeah. Trying to think. Well, I guess it's been an honor to talk to you. You know, you're one of the most like inspiring artists for me personally.
Thank
So
you.
definitely a dream come true type moment. Even if it is on Zoom and I can't get my vinyl signed or whatever, but it is what it is. I'll see you in Boise, February 24th?
February
Something.
24th at Shrine Social Club. And
Let's go.
yeah, people should get tickets and go because there's tickets available.
Yeah, I'll tell all my friends. Yeah. Thanks for joining the Zoom call, answering
Yeah.
my silly questions.
My pleasure. Thanks for having
Yeah.
me. Talk
Yeah,
to you
have a great
later.
day.